California has become the place that is absolutely insane. Rising costs, terrible living, in my opinion. And this video is going to be completely why my family chose to leave California and head to Florida. Out of all the places in the country, all the places we're going to move to, our whole story, why we made the decision. And maybe it'll align with you, who is also looking to leave the state like so many, like the other hundreds of thousands of people every single year. Because let's be honest, it's getting a complete basket case, lawlessness, crazy high cost of living for what? All right, so we're gonna jump right into it. So obviously, let's go back to the beginning here. So obviously, I grew up in New York, in a small town in Western New York originally. Joined the Marine Corps, hopped around a bunch of places, met my wife in San Diego in 2016, 15, heading into 16. And, you know, I obviously was stationed there. It was not the worst place to be stationed. It definitely wasn't cheap then, and it certainly didn't get better over the preceding years that led up to it. And one of the things that I realized was, you know, like this place is fun, but like I felt like I was always missing something. But you know what, I met my wife there and I was just gonna make the best of it, right? Because that was just what you do. And you come to realize just like how, because every year it got crazier and crazier and crazier, and more laws and more taxes, and you know, crime would go up a little bit and get crazy. Like, dude, what the heck? Like, this is getting stupid. Because we bought a house in 2017. Okay, things were seeming like they were going great. And then when I decided to jump into, you know, doing my business and doing all that stuff, like it just, you know, got, as business is, got hard for the first couple of years. We were lucky enough to get a condo in Bonsall, which is in North County, which is really off the beaten path for those that are living in that area. And it just wasn't it. So we sold that, moved back in with my mother-in-law. Obviously, that seems to be a case in California. You just move back in with your parents or your mother, your in-laws. This is what you do, right? Because they're the only ones that have a freaking house. And like we realized during that transition, we're like, we need something better. I think my wife woke up one morning and I was probably getting ready for work, and she's like, I don't think I want to live here anymore. And obviously someone who wasn't from California, and I have a lot of issues about living in that state. I was like, I don't know what I was doing, stopped everything, and I'm like, we're gonna talk about this. And we figured out a plan, and we're like, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna make a road trip all the way across the southern United States, and we're gonna figure out where we want to potentially move to. And we loaded up our only 2 kids at the time, took my mother-in-law and her Theo just for a little trip, because why not? Went all the way to Florida and everything in between. And we got to experience a lot. Obviously, I was stationed in Arizona for a period of time. We were well aware of what living in Arizona was like. Went to New Mexico. I don't know why people live in southern New Mexico, but hey, this is just me. We went through Texas. I mean, people were amazing and great, but it just wasn't quite what we wanted at the time.
Hey, thank you so much for watching this video. I just want to take a quick second to let you know that we love dropping videos for you every single week, just like this, to help people like yourself make the move to Orlando, just like I did years ago. And also, while you're watching this video and we drop information for you, don't forget to hit like and subscribe. But more importantly, if you're looking to make a move out here, obviously, my name is Cameron Hodge with eXp Realty, and what I specialize with, me and my team, is helping people like yourself make that move to Orlando. But not just move here, actually move here and help you with the decisions that you need to make sure that you have a good life guaranteed when you get here. Because no one wants you to get here to like just make a bad decision and live in the wrong area and not make those right choices. So if that's you and you need help making that plan when making a move out here, this number popping up below is how you can get a hold of me and the team. Or if that's not fast enough, down in the description there is a Zoom link where you can schedule a one-on-one Zoom call with me. We can sit down and create that perfect plan for you. And again, thank you so much for watching the video, and let's get back to it.
And you know, Texas was great, but it just didn't fit the bill. I mean, I still remember we were in Houston, Texas, and probably not the nicest area of town, just because we were trying to keep our budget low at the time. And you know, we went just outside. It was like a Walmart or a Target, and I only had 2 small items, and there's a huge line of people, one cashier open. Everyone stopped what they were doing and was like, oh, do you want to go ahead? And they let me go first. And I felt like so rude. And they're like, no, why would you wait for us in line? And I'm like, I got to realize how amazing, I almost forgot how great people can be outside of California. In California, and I'm not gonna trying to trash on it, just how it is. People are just so caught up in work, sleep, work, sleep, work, sleep, work, sleep. They're just so angry all the time, and it's very hard to find people that are just generally nice. in public. Like everyone's like, you go somewhere, pay money. You go somewhere else, pay more money. Like it's just, this is what it is. Why? Because people need to make a living, because everyone's just so freaking broke and strapped out of their mind. I mean, the reality is only 18%, I don't know if it's both sides, I think it's only men, only 18% make over 100 grand a year in the United States. Like that's such a small percentage when you think about how many people live in California, like come on, you know? So it's nuts. And we made the entire road trip across. We decided on Florida when we got here. And some of the big things that stood out to us was the fact that we liked the people. We felt that there were a lot of people moving here that we actually enjoyed, right? Like we homeschool our oldest. I'm very big into guns and freedom, and I like to have some more autonomy in my life. And we felt Florida was a great base camp for that. And that was like really started the journey of like, man, now which city do we want to live in? So, you know, Florida obviously stood out, and there's so many different cities and different cultures, and there's so much going on here. And so even with how I am, I'm not a huge fan of crowds, but you know, my wife loves Disney. Kids did. We had Disneyland in California. So naturally, Orlando was probably the first one on that ticket. And we came here, and while it is very touristy and very crowded in a lot of areas around Disney, right along that I-4 corridor area, it's real close that I'm like, you know what, this is still someplace I can enjoy, because it's not that hard to all of a sudden you go from the craziness to it feels like you're not even in the city anymore. And that's one of the greatest things I love about Florida. You know, I felt like I've being in New York and then California and all these places, like I never got a chance to like really own the guns I wanted to do. I haven't hunted in like 10 years. And that was a huge part of my life growing up in the country. And while Florida's not the best place to do that, at least I had the ability to head up towards Georgia. I can go hog hunting and things like that. And like there is hunting closer to here, but obviously I'm gonna probably head up to Georgia and stuff like that. My dad just got a house in Tennessee, and Florida just became this base. We realized it could be a base to not only get cheaper, like everyone flies to Florida. So getting flights to and from Florida, not that hard, which is like the coolest thing ever, because someone who, you know, we want to travel with our kids and do all that stuff, I just wanted to. I also forgot about the fact that personally, like I'm definitely an East Coast kid. I'm not a West Coast kid. I mean, the East Coast just has so much history and stuff going on. Not to say the West Coast doesn't have history, it's just not like it is here. And obviously with choosing to homeschool our kids, like we wanted to be able to travel and to see those things, right? Like whether it's heading up to Gettysburg, like I love Civil War history, or heading to St. Augustine for the oldest home still standing, right? After hundreds and hundreds of years. Like all these cool things that are out here, you know, heading to the Appalachian Mountains, like all these things that are just out here that I forgot how much I missed it. And, you know, that's really ultimately why we chose Florida, because it gave enough, it's not the cheapest place anymore, but it gave enough cost of living to where instead of getting a condo, I can now get a home, right? Like I say, in the Orlando area, like if you're anywhere, as long as you can afford $350, you can probably get a small house, right? Certain areas are gonna be a lot more expensive. A lot of people complain about how expensive it is. Guess what? That's the whole country. And I'm sorry, if you're moving to Florida to save money, you're not. I mean, that's one thing we learned really quick, is like you're not moving to Florida to save money. It's just not gonna happen. There are some cities, sure, that are more in the country that are gonna save you some money compared to like the big cities, but like it's not the cost saving place that it used to be, right? The cool thing is no state income tax. That's cool. That's a big help for a lot of people, but ultimately like you need to have some level of income to really fully enjoy life here. I tell most people, especially from California, when you come here, you're not really saving money. You're gonna spend the same money, just get a lot more for it. You can definitely overspend for sure. The one thing I think blew me away when we finally moved here, after, you know, going through the process, finalizing things in California, coming out here, was when we first came here, we really didn't have much furniture. And we rented when we first got here, and the whole neighborhood just gave away free furniture. I mean, we joke about it now, but I got like this big this hardwood dining table for free, because I just didn't want it. And like it was too big for our house, so we ended up giving it away, and that person gave it away. Now it's like, you know, now we call it the traveling table, because everyone just keeps passing it along, because we got it for free. So you don't want to, you know, you don't want to like charge someone to get rid of it, 'cause you're like, damn, I got this thing for free, I'm not gonna charge someone to get rid of it. So you pass it on. It's just funny, but that's how people are here. Like we've now all of a sudden we've gone to like, you know, homeschooling co-ops. Like my oldest is in soccer now, or we're doing all these things, and like there's so many people that just think like us. they just feel so aligned, you know. And I've heard it all, right? Like I've heard the people that are locals, whatever the heck that means. I mean, unless you're Native American, are you really local? You know what I mean? Like it's just obnoxious. Like get the heck out of here. Like as someone in the military who traveled around a bunch of places, I've heard that so many times. You're not a local, yeah, obviously. You know what I mean? Like get the heck out of here. We're American. That's all that matters. But it's one of those places where people are really afraid of like California ideals coming here. And most likely if you're leaving California, you're like me, it's probably because you get tired of that crap and you're ready to just have a better life. And I can tell you, like, it is a breath of fresh air when you come to a state that, well, like imposes a death penalty for people who hurt kids. Because, well, I have 3 myself and don't touch my kids. It's just nice to be in a place where, that some things do make sense. Now, it's not perfect. There are a lot of issues we still have in Florida. The weather is brutal during the summer. So that is something that, it's not perfect. It is not this perfect place. But for us, we viewed it as a base camp. Like it is a place to gain a base for us to be able to travel, to do things, and, just be able to have a better foundation for our kids. Because ultimately in California, we were in a position where, like it's just, we could have stayed there, but then what? Me and my wife are both having to work crazy hours all the time because just to even afford our housing. To be able to do all these things where I was lucky enough to where we kept the same income moving to Florida, and we just got a little bit more wiggle room to start even just breathing and thinking and enjoying life again. And that's one of the hardest things we found about the West Coast life, really. And we wanted to get away from it. And Florida just really checked all those boxes for us. And there's a lot of different cities in Florida. Obviously, if you're watching this, we're already this far into it, and normally I do a call to action. This video, I just wanted to just be honest about why I moved here. But that's why I usually do a call to action early in the video. I didn't in this one, because that's just how passionate I am about people moving to this state. But if you are looking to move to this state, obviously in Central Florida and right now in Jacksonville, we, as real estate agents, with eXp Realty, we specialize in helping people like yourselves relocate to Florida. And if you're looking to get that help and assistance in that full-on plan, because a lot of people will just help you get into a home, and that's not what my concern is. Our concern as a team is making sure your full plan is covered, the kids, your living situation, everything. So you can reach out this number down below. You can call, text, email. It does not matter how you get a hold of us. I will pick up that phone and we will have a conversation about how we can help you go from California to Florida. Or maybe you're watching this from somewhere else and you just wanted to see why a Californian came to Florida. And I tell you straight up, I'm not a Californian. At this point, I don't even know what I am. I'm originally from New York, if that means anything. I lived in California for like 6-7 years, I think. Longer than I wanted to. But if you're looking to get that help, I would love to help you along that process, because we were lost when we like the area, where to live, what to do. And we even moved here and we're like, we should have moved over there instead. So reach out, let's have that conversation. And if you're really concerned, we had a client actually a month ago who reached out, who's doing the same position in California. He's like, I don't know, I got to sell my house, I do all this stuff. I still have connections with my business over in California. I will help you get out of that state. And unfortunately, it's an expensive state to get out of. But if you make the right plans and you do the right planning, you can make it as soft a landing as possible when it comes to Florida. It will be a culture shock, it will be different, but if you can set everything up the right way, you can find the community outlets. Like that's what we did when we came here. We found Facebook groups, we found people that are like us, to get our kids, trying to make new friends, to do all this. We don't have family here, we don't have like anything. So building that foundation is very, very important to us. And it is for you if you were leaving that state. And I can tell you that with the right plan, the right people helping you, it just makes it a softer landing than you would imagine. So if you need that help and you're getting ready to move out here, reach out to us. Let's have that conversation. And if you have any immediate questions about why you should leave California or things below, comment down below and we'll love to have that conversation. So hope you got value in this video. Hope you got to see an idea of why someone would leave California and head to Florida. And I look forward to seeing you in the next one.